Namaste. Welcome, beautiful souls. This is the 21st day of December and my 21st broadcast for this year's Advent calendar. And I want to wish you light and love for the solstice, whether you are honoring the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere or welcoming summer in the southern hemisphere. Lots of light to all of you. And today I want to start with one of my favorite things, and that is the Weaver's Oracle. This beautiful oracle deck is full of wisdom and deep, powerful stories. And some time back, I want to say maybe a couple of years ago, I did a deep wandering through this deck in the Facebook group and spent lots of time reflecting on these cards, and it was really, really, really powerful. I particularly like the Life Clan, and to have the Life Clan cards available at the Sabbats. The Life Clan is a series of 8 cards that mark the 8 Sabbats on the Wheel of the Year. And this is the snow card that represents winter solstice. And I'd like to share with you just a little bit from this amazing book by Carolyn Hillier. And a warm welcome to G and Arya. Namaste. Hibernation is a closely guarded world, and ivy spells form the door through which to enter it. When the earth is peeled back to its bones, and all paths are laid cold and bare, then we might yearn to sip softness and taste the sleeping land. We can rely on winter, for it offers few distractions from the task of being ourselves. The profound silence frees us to stretch into our thoughts. Within the sheltering night, we may rest at last. Inside hibernation, time will slip its anchor, so it can be enough for us to step into the winter room for just a day or two, as long as we are quite alone, with space to roam inside our dreams and a place to warm our feet. So how do we make the ivy spell that opens up that doorway? A bag woven tight from ivy, vine, holly stems plucked from deep beneath the snow, an ancient rag of golden brittle with stars, amber resin scraped from a forest grove, all gathered in the clearest light of winter days. These are beautiful ingredients, but optional. Far more important are the dreams that have seasoned our path, and the stories we have gathered to the hearth, laced with tender threads of music that we have known and shared. Crucial to the ivy spell is our remembering of friends and warming thoughts of them, and our trust that these long nights will soothe our anguished hearts. With these cherished things gathered into the belly of the turning year, we might be ready to slip beneath the darkness. Last of all, we can bring a raven feather to stir this magic all around. Or we might bring instead an ancient vow to bind the spell, that we will always know and offer love as we do now. This is very, very simple tip. And that is to know your decks. To spend time getting to know your decks. If I hadn't worked so intimately with the Weaver's Oracle, I might not know that there are 8 sacred cards that mark the Sabbats, that I can extract these 8 cards and put them on my altar, or enjoy the story that accompanies it on the Sabbats. And knowing your decks means that it's easy to select decks that are appropriate to your intention. In the same way, another deck that I would not be without at winter solstice is the Wild Unknown Tarot. And in knowing this deck, and in knowing the gifts of this deck, and also in knowing the extra books and the accompanying support that comes with this particular deck, it means that I can use it with a great deal more ease and comfort. So I ask you, do you know your decks? And if not, maybe 2025 is the year to really get to know one or two of them. So for today, I am going to use a spread that I only use on certain occasions. And that is when I am reflecting post chambered tomb meditation. And in the extra book called Wild Magic, there is a beautiful meditation for this particular card. And I did record it at one time. I have no idea where it is. But I am going to re-record that today, and I will put it in the playlist in my Wild Unknown playlist. So if you are interested and you're subscribed to the channel, you'll see that notification come up once that's uploaded. But I thought today, for the inspiration, that I would share a little bit about this card, the meditation, and do the accompanying spread that is in the Wild Magic book. So in this card that represents winter solstice, you can see the beautiful northern lights in the background, and the way that this cairn is framed by the trees in the foreground, the Great Bear overhead. And the Great Bear not only calls you, but stands in protection of a journey that you take into this great tomb to connect with and to receive a message from your ancestors. And it's a very powerful reflection, and I will share that with you later today. For now, though, I'm going to do a spread for the collective using the Chambered Tomb spread from Wild Magic. And the question is about this collective message from the ancestors that wants to come through on this auspicious day, this first day of winter 2024. And as always, I ask this message be in the highest for the greatest good, and that no harm be done. So be it. This is the entrance, and this is a chamber deep in the chambered tomb. Oh my goodness, we have this card again. This is the heart of the issue. And if you've been following along, we've seen the Three of Swords arise in a few different readings. And one of the things that this particular Three of Swords acknowledges is a transformation of energy. If we actually allow the arrows to pierce the heart, it will transform. Energy, we never lose energy. Energy always, it just transforms. It takes on a different form. And this process of feeling, this process of moving through loss and acknowledging pain is so important. It seems so very, because I have been working with this kind of energy and with many clients for years, I really understand how important it is to feel, to not push issues under the carpet, to be with exactly how you are in the moment. And granted, there are certain times and places where we do need to compartmentalize our mind, our feelings. Yet, when we find space and time to be in process, it's really important to do the work. And this card truly reminds us that while this is a time of joy, this is also an important time of checking in with our truth and making sure that this alignment of heart and mind is there. And that really speaks to a freedom of sorts. So kind of powerful that shows up here. Okay, so further expanding on that theme is a card of connection, a card of gathering, and a card that says we are stronger together. 6 of Fire brings us together with friends and family in circle with like-minded people. And I'm thinking that in gathering with ancestors, present and past and future, what if you actually went to a family dinner or a gathering with old friends, and in your heart, you kind of sat there and smiled at ancestors past and ancestors future, knowing that they are all there, and just be in the beauty of connection. This card, the 6s in this deck, have a perfect alignment with the seasons as well too. So there is an acknowledgement of the significance of these gatherings as something that is that brings peace and harmony, and is really important to our growth. We start with a 3, we move to a 6, and these sacred numbers also emphasize the importance of acknowledging special days like the 21st of December, or other annual landmarks that are part of your tradition and part of who you are. Now, across from the second card, so if we're looking at this literally as far as the meditation goes, this is the West Chamber and this is the East Chamber. And supporting a deeper understanding of this process is the Four of Stones. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck. And so we have across from each other a card of gathering and a card of the importance of being alone in your process. And this is really beautiful. It's a message of an array of experience. There is not one way to process grief. There is not one way to move on from a loss. There are healing experiences in gathering. There are healing experiences in meditation. That may be in your sleep. That could be in a quiet walk in the forest. That could be simply sitting in your chair. Maybe you knit. Maybe you read a book. Maybe you sit and you gaze out the window. But there is healing in both this process of being alone as well as this process of gathering and connecting with friends, old and new. The Four of Stones adds a layer here that that feels old, that feels like our safe space, our sacred space, even though we may have designed it recently, is built on something that is much older than we are aware of. And that sacred space also contains the energy of the ancestors and those who may have walked a very similar path to you before, because you are also processing their karma, and you have shared energy through your lineage, through your lifetimes. The card in the center acts a bit like a bridge or a method or a way. And we have a knight. And knights in this deck also align with the sixes in the center of the seasons, which is kind of beautiful here. So more reinforcement of alignment. Six of Stones would align perfectly with the Great Bear and that 20th Arcanum card. And the Six of Stones, the Knight of Stones, the knights are on sacred journeys. And this particular one feels, it's like when I hear that word stones, it's almost like you can hear your footstep. You can hear your conscious footstep. Maybe it's in this chambered tomb. Maybe it's on a pathway. Maybe it's on a cobbled street. Maybe you are doing path working and somehow you find yourself in Europe somewhere in a time long ago where there are cobblestone streets. Maybe it is somewhere that you've longed to go that still has cobblestone streets, and you can listen to each step of your foot and know that Each step matters in this journey. There's something about the foot here that feels important. Each step along the path, and what is as a how card, as a method card, this feels like acknowledgement and how important each step is to the process. It's not about the destination. It's not about the end of the journey. And at the very back of the tomb is a place of letting go, a place where you will release something. Sorry, I have a hair in my eye. Oh my goodness, and look at what is at the back of the tomb. Is this a tear? A lot of tears? Is it a great sigh? Is it your voice? Is it a confession? But the energy flows freely here in the Ace of Vessels. And this gives you, it's like a cleansing energy, a waterfall, a place where your energy can be in alignment with the energy of nature. Maybe there is a running water actually at the back of the tomb, and that running water encourages you indeed to release. So walk slowly and let the emotions flow and be in the healing energy of generations past and generations future. The sixth card is a wild card, and it is a card that may challenge moving forward. It is the wanderer. It is the fool. And I imagine that this card is here speaking about resistance of going forward and resistance of letting go. Because if I hold on tight, and you all know that's also part of the shadow of the Four of Stones, if I hold on tight, then nothing is going to change and I will be safe. But this is a message of moving on and being in the process and knowing that your ancestors, your loved ones in spirit, in all directions of time, hold space for this for you. And so today, on this 21st day of December, find some time to sit in contemplation of these words. And as always, take what resonates and leave the rest. And have a blessed rest of your day. Namaste.